John F. John A. and I were talking about Fugazi on the show, and we got to the conversation of how does one make the deep dive and find those bands, those side bands. And this is what John the Johns had to say about that.
You just read interviews, you look at liner notes. Like if you go back, you could probably look in the liner notes of Dookie, it's like that there's Blatz references all over that thing, and like there's all these going bands. You could look at like those Foo Fighters records where they thank like Scream and like DC Hardcore and like people talk about Void and stuff, and like Fugazi's one of those too. Like and labels like this band's on this label. Like I did that with Discord, I did that with Lookout Records, I did that with SST, I did that with Sub Pop. Like you talk about Sunny Day Real Estate and Sebadoh and like all those like mid-90s Sub Pop bands, like all that stuff I was digging into.
Now, John A., did you find yourself digging in like this? Did you ever kind of follow a thread?
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually have to cut myself off. Like, I can't really consume enough music. There's just more and more and more and more, and I just want to hear all the music that I can hear. But I have such a wide, varied musical taste anyway. But yeah, like I used to do it more by label than I did by like liner notes and things. Like, you know, like for a while I was like really into all the Victory Records bands, so like anything that Victory put out, I would buy. And then labels get larger and they change over time. But yeah, I definitely, especially with the DC stuff, I definitely followed all of those threads and, you know, got into, you know, Right to Spring and Faith and all these other bands from that time period.
Following the liner note threads, as it were. You can hear the rest of that conversation on After the Fact number 60. And that is available on Patreon, patreon.com/Oh Hi Justin. It's a Patreon exclusive conversation. So check that out if you want to hear more. It only costs $1 a month, and you don't just get that. You get everything I'm doing, including all the episodes deprogrammed before the rest of the world. How cool is that? Also, hey man, you want to hear our conversation on Fugazi? That's right. Deprogram comes out on all podcast platforms on Thursdays. Subscribe, rate, comment. That would all be cool, or tell somebody.